Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing today? This is Yusuf Chaudhry, your digital marketing coach, strategist, whatever. Let's give me a few minutes here. So today we'll talk about a little bit about Megan's question from the day before yesterday, and that is how to boost. Brad, my man, what's going on, bro? Thank you for tuning in. I believe her question was how to boost my SEO for Google. Okay. Before answering that question, because that question requires like a very long answer. So before getting into the dish of this particular meat or food, we're going to talk about the ingredients and how you mix the ingredients to make it work, right? So we've got to talk about the basic first, then we'll go and talk about how to boost your SEO for your website. Okay. So just give me a minute here. Less than a minute. Let me just go ahead and share this live streaming. And for some reason, if the connection, brother Javed, wa alaikum salam, if for some reason the connection drops, I'm gonna come back. So don't think I'm disappeared. I'm not. I'm just gonna come back. But I'm noticing like this week I've been having some issues with the internet. So right now I'm going directly to the connected to the modem. Hopefully the quality is great. The sound is good. So let me go ahead and talk about the subject of the SEO. It's very important because it's one of the blessings is that for some reason still a lot of businesses don't understand how this thing works, which is good for me, so I can start keep selling the service. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay. So the question was like, how to boost SEO on Google, right? So the first thing is like we have to understand like what is SEO, right? That's the first most important thing. Like, what is SEO? This three letters that stands for search engine optimization. Like, really, what does it mean? Like, what is search engine optimization SEO? So we already know search engine is a software, is an application. Right? It's an application. It's a software like Google, Bing, Yahoo. These are called search engine because they are engine, right? Where you can go and search. That's what they call it, search engine, right? So you basically, when you think of the word search engine, you're talking about Google search, Bing search, Yahoo search, DuckDuckGo search. Okay, these are search engines, right? When you talk about optimization, what it means basically is that you're optimizing your website based on some rules, regulations, guideline, whether that's from Google's guideline or Bing or Yahoo, right? So there's some rules in terms of how to optimize your website, and the objective is really to have your target audience find you. Okay, that's the whole reason behind the so-called search engine optimization. Now, if you want to understand, it's very important to understand the concept, right? To understand the concept of this such thing called SEO. Then after that, understand how it works because there are like 100 ways of doing it, right? So the first thing is you have to understand what is search engine optimization, and the way you define it, it's a technical. I will say this is a technical process. There's a technical process. There's a creative process. So when I say technical, what does that mean? The technical basically means when you build a website, there are certain ways of creating pages, uploading images, designing or putting the code on the back end to basically give us what we're looking for, right? So there's some guidelines and technique. When we say technical, that means something happens on the back end of the website through coding, through script like HTML, PHP, CSS, Java, and whatnot, right? So that's technical. Things happening on the back end. That's what I mean by technical, okay? When I say it's a creative process, this is where the front end, this is the design, the look, the content, the copy on the site, the way it's built in a sense that redirecting the audience on what they need to look for, where they need to go, what do they need to click, right? What kind of content that addresses their needs and wants and challenges and pain points, right? So this is the creative process. So you have the technical backend, and you have the creative process on the front end, right? Now, both objective. There's an objective behind this process. Of course, you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're doing it because there's a reason behind it. It's a very good reason, right? You're implementing the technical and the creative process because you want to influence, right? You want to influence the visibility of your website or web pages on the search engines, which is the Google and Bing and Yahoo. We're gonna just talk about Google in general because they dominate most of the market, right? So the objective of implementing technical and creative process so you can influence the visibility of your website, right? In the search engines, organic search result. Now, why did I say organic? Because the process takes time. It's not like you're gonna build this website today and tomorrow you're gonna show up. If that was the case, then everyone's gonna be millionaire, right? But it doesn't work like that because the website has more than 60 something trillion pages living there on the internet, probably more than that, right? So, and the reason he said organic because it takes time. I don't know how can I emphasize this that the SEO, they call it organic for a reason. It takes really quite some time. I mean, there's no guarantee, and it depends on your niche. If you're a barbershop locally, maybe within 6 months, 9 months, or even 3 months, you'll be in the first page because you're focusing in one location. If you want to dominate certain nationwide different state, then there's a whole process for that. That can take you longer, right? If you want to the dominate internationally, then of course it's possible, but there's a whole process behind that too. Okay, so it can take some time. In fact, there's a good article written by Ahref, one of my awesome favorite tools that I use, Ahref. If you go to Google and type Ahref, how long it takes to rank on Google or on search, they have a case study that shows you that the majority of the site that got ranked properly and got the traffic and the conversion, the customers, most of them had so many content, most of them lasted for like a year and a half or almost a year. In our situation, some of our clients rank after 6 months. Very few did rank within 3 months, but the majority within a year and a half, or 6 months or 9 months. Okay. So going back to the definition, understanding what SEO is, it's understand this, guys. Remember this, because if you understand the concept, if you remember the concept, then you understand what's gonna keep coming up next. Okay, you have to be educated in this sense. So again, I'm gonna repeat this over and over until it sticks in your head. Okay, it is what it is a technical process, is a creative process, and the whole process that you're implementing, excuse me, is to influence the visibility of your website, okay, to your target audience on the search engines organic result page. So in the whole purpose behind this, you want to drive your actual customers, your target audience, target customers, target, whatever you're going to call it, but your actual customer, for them to basically find you and come to your website. And that's not enough, because once they come to your website, you have to make sure that they convert into a paying customer. So that's what SEO involves. That's what we mean when we say search engine optimization. Okay, and there's a process behind it. It's not a one-time thing. The only thing that is a one-time thing, which is the on-page SEO optimization, that's a one-time thing that you'll do on the website when you build it or after. Or when you constantly put content, you got to make sure that all the content are properly optimized, right? But there's some other processes called the off-page SEO, which is the monthly task that can take anywhere between 20 hours a month to like probably 55 hours a month, from link analysis, link building, toxic link removal, competition analysis, comparison, submitting amazing content on relevant sites to basically build the brand and whatnot. So there's so many processes, we can talk about that too. Okay, but at least understand that what does SEO mean in the first place, because that's what the confusion is. Because a lot of folks basically will say, oh, SEO, keywords, all the thing about keywords. Did you know that keywords actually is just one portion of the strategy? When we talk about keyword analysis or keyword research or adding the keyword on the website, that is just like 0 point something 0% of the actual SEO process. That is not the main task. But so many businesses and so many folks that don't understand how SEO work, the first thing pops in their head, oh, keyword, yeah, keyword. I got a bunch of keyword. I put like 500 keyword in one page. I'm like, how would you do that? Putting 500 keywords in one page? That's like a bunch of nuts and sacks and too much stuff that makes no sense, right? You don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So understand first, like, what is SEO? Okay, if you understand the concept, the reason behind it, Then I can study, okay, what are the processes to help me to get the customer. And another mistake that other people, so many other people do, is that they focus too much on ranking. Oh, I want to be in the first page. Okay, what does that do to you? I mean, did you know that if you're on the first page of Google and you're the first link on the first page of Google, you're only going to get like 35 to 45% of the click. Why? Because your customers are already searching for other sites, not just you. So that's why the percentage of click is not 100%, right? And that's the first one. So of course it makes sense when you're the first one on Google. That means you're basically grabbing all the eyeballs. You're basically grabbing all your customer that is finding you. There's a huge percentage of them will call you or submit your request and whatnot. That makes sense. And it is important, but really you should focus on, when I rank locally, let's say on the first page, am I getting the customer that actually want me? So your focus should be a little bit shifted. Instead of saying just ranking, you have to focus more on conversion. I got to focus on, is my audience finding me? And if they're finding me, are they clicking on my website? When they click on my website, are they converting? Are they calling me? Are they submitting a application? Are they submitting a request form or booking a session or booking an appointment? Does that make sense? So you have to focus on, am I getting the conversion? Am I getting the targeted traffic? That should be your question when you hire an SEO expert or another agency that does SEO as part of the digital marketing strategy. Is that is the purpose? Can you help me to get this customer? Because that should be the conversation, not just I want to rank. Because we can, let's say, anybody can give you crappy optimize the website for keywords that your customer don't even look for, and you can rank for it, but it's not going to bring you any business, any conversion, and nothing. So does that make sense? So I want you to understand that yes, ranking is important, no doubt, but conversion and target audience is more priority than just the ranking. So when you ask the right question, make sure that you get the help, that you're going to get the traffic, targeted traffic, because not all traffic are equal, not all links are equal either, right? So you got to make sure the traffic I'm getting is targeted traffic. They're finding me, and when they land on the website, we have to figure out how to build the site in a way to convert them. And there's no so-called secret formula for that, because there's some case-by-case studies. There's some ways that, let's say, it's been working with most websites. You can utilize those strategies. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you have Google Analytics or a third-party tool that can basically record and see exactly what's happening. And based on your customers' or target audience behavior, you can go back and make the changes to adjust to their needs and their experiences on that website. Make sense? So that's, in a nutshell, the understanding of what search engine is. Right now, so that's our definition in our SEO industry, in our SEO forums, and among our SEO community. That's how we define it. Now, what does Google say about SEO? Of course, we kind of have like this love and hate relationship with Google, because they tell us, let's say there's a 200 to 1,000 factor in terms of ranking. The algorithms keeps changing for security, for giving the best result to the audience, and which is the customer, and they do that on a consistent basis. So many things changes, but their big money making machine is the ads. So they focus on the ads, and because the Google ads, what brings them the money, right? Like in billions. So that's why when we talk about some of their technique on SEO, they will only gonna give us the back end on page technique. They're gonna talk about that, but you will notice a lot of time they're kind of very vague when it comes to like off-page SEO. Make sense? So the way they define it, so according to Google's definition of SEO, the way they define it, they say that for us, SEO basically means is for the web owner, for the website owner, is for that owner to make the website easier, okay, for the search engine to crawl, index, and understand your content. So the search engine has this software called Bot, Spider, Crawler. I know it's kind of, Crawler, because the World Wide Web, Crawler. Okay, Spider, that's what you're going to call it, that funny name, right? And the whole objective of this crawler is to come to the website, to index everything, to understand what the pages is talking about. The search engine needs to understand, is this a service page? What is it about? Is this an about page? What is it about? Right? And not just that, it actually can help us as human beings to understand what your page is about, right? So the software, the search engine wants to understand, wants to crawl, wants to index your content. So that's why when you build a site, or when you put the content, you should base your content or your optimization decision first and foremost on what's best, not just for the search, but what's best for the visitor of your website. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So let me say it again. So according to Google's definition of SEO, they want you as a website owner to make it easier for the search engine to index, to crawl, to understand the content within your pages, right? So that's why when you build a website and when you write the content, you should base it. If you are going to base the optimization according to them, you have to base it, the decision first and foremost on what is best for your website visitors. Okay, that's how they define it. So you can combine our definition of what searching is and what Google wants you to do, right? Because that software, that bot, all it does, it crawls, it indexes, it retrieves information to you, and it helps you with ranking. And that thing still works. Okay, so when Megan asked this question, how to boost the SEO, I mean, there's a reason behind it. Why would she ask that? Because, is this important to implement SEO or not, right? If we are going to understand the reason behind it, we can say, yes, it is very important because it does help with boosting the rank of your website. It does help with your target audience are able to find you, like find your product and services. Search engine can also help you to increase your generate targeted leads for your website. It can help you with increasing targeted traffic, not just any traffic, but targeted traffic to your website. Okay, it can also help you to measure your activity. So if you add Google Analytics and the Google Search Console, you can see exactly where the visitors are coming from, how many minutes they're spending, are they coming from mobile devices or desktop, and which areas, and what are the top 10 pages. So once you plug in the analytics and the Search Console, right, and you implement the SEO, you can see organically what's happening. You can actually measure it. So that's why SEO is very important, not just to rank and get the traffic, but to collect those data, because those data are going to help you to keep optimizing, strategizing, putting new things based on the behavior of your website visitor. Make sense? Does that make sense, folks? Let me know if y'all have any question. Okay. Now we understand the concept of what SEO is, right? We understand right now why it's important. Okay. And now you have to understand like how it's done. So in order for you to implement SEO on your website, you have to understand another thing. Okay, you have to understand that there's a 2 steps or 2 categories or 2 section before you implement this, right? The first one, it's called on-page SEO. Just by the name of it, on-page, that means everything is done on the site, whether on the front or on the back end. That includes like meta tag, schema tag, title tag, description, keyword usage, right? Keyword usage, alternative text, size of the content, the coding structure. Should not be too many broken code on the back end. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So that is the on-page side of things. We call it on-page because a lot of work is done on the page itself. And of course, before you implement that, there's a whole process behind it, which is keyword research, your competitors' research. So if you have a competitor in the market, you can analyze them to see how they're ranking and why they're ranking, for example, right? Let me see if there's any question right here. 1 second. Okay. Okay. So the first step is the optimization. So that requires keyword research. It requires how to put an HTML schema tag. There's so much stuff happens on the back end. Okay. Because you have to make sure, even if you don't implement the technical side of the things on the website, you have to make sure that the texts are accurate and descriptive. You have to make sure that images have alternative text, which means the blind people can understand what these images are about. If you have videos, make sure there's a transcript of the video and a closed captioning, right? So there's so many things you have to take into consideration for the usability factor, because user experience and which we call this UI, UX, user experience, user factor, are very important even for the SEO, because your audience that comes to the website, they have to have an amazing experience, just like when they spend time at Starbucks, right? We started offering COVID-19 antibody tests. What keywords should we use to optimize SEO? Do we need to pay for AdSense to boost this test? Because I don't see anything when I search for COVID-19 antibody tests near me. Well, the first thing, Javed, you have to do the keyword research to find out. You're going to tap the word COVID-19 and see what Google shows you. Okay, you can use keywords everywhere.com Chrome extension. You can use Uber Suggest Chrome extension. You can also use there is a tool within Google AdWord. It's called Google Keyword Planner. But I'm not sure they're going to pull this data, because the Google Keyword Planner pulls like data from 12 months, not like every month. But you can try and see. Once you do the search, see what kind of popular questions or keyword people are asking, right? And see what kind of results shows up. Then you're going to optimize the pages. But the thing is, you cannot dump all the keywords on that page. If you have a page that talks about COVID-19 antibody test, then the keyword going to be COVID-19 antibody test, and explains in that page the process, like how it's done and whatnot. So I also recommend that you should utilize answerthepublic.com and see what kind of question people are asking when it comes to like antibody test. Okay. Hey, Willie, what's going on, bro? I haven't seen for a while, man. How you doing? If the keywords you want are oversaturated, what do you do then? That's a very excellent question. Most of the keywords are oversaturated anyway. Google decides how they're going to show you a result. I mean, let's say me and Bill and Charles, all three of us do web design in San Antonio. All three of us can use website design in San Antonio. All three of us can use that. But it depends on what kind of content we're putting, what kind of blog, what kind of podcast, what kind of videos, what kind of activities I have on social media. Then Google decides it, right? Because remember, there are more than 200, they say 200, I think it's like 1,000 factors to help you. Does that make sense? So Google decides that. So it depends on, maybe my content has a 300 words, and Bill, you probably have like 1,000 words in one page. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not a matter of, we don't look at the saturation. We look at, when we do the keyword research, first we look at the relevancy. Is this keyword super relevant to what the customer does, right? The second thing, we analyze those keywords, we put it in Google, see who shows up. If somebody like my client show up, that means, oh, there's a competition. If they show up, they do the same thing. Okay, let's go and utilize this and optimize the site so this individual can also show up with them. And there is a way sometimes that their ranking can go down. You can oversee them, you can go above them based on how much effort you put on the website. Okay? You know what I mean? So when you look at the keyword, of course, there are too many competitors, because let's say if you are DUI attorney, if every DUI attorney in San Antonio uses it, that doesn't mean you're going to stop, right? On your main homepage, you might have San Antonio DUI attorney, for example. But on your other pages, you might have something a little bit specific, right? Because you still have to optimize it. You're optimizing it not based on the saturation. You're optimizing it because your customer are searching for these, and you want to be also shown up. You need to be visible for those as well. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, so brother Javed, you have to, it uses algorithm to show the end user what content people are engaging with the most. I mean, there's so many tools out there that can help you to understand what are the keywords being searched within that niche, what kind of websites are showing up, why do these websites are showing up. So you optimize it based on what's working, right? And the thing with the SEO is not just the only task that you have to implement when it comes to your digital marketing. In the digital marketing, you have SEO, you have ads, you have content, you have so many things that you have to utilize it for the purpose of making sure that your customer finds you and hire you, like even from the social. Does that make sense? So when you do the keyword research, you look, first of all, what's popular within my niche, right? And then you look at the volume. You look at the relevancy, then the volume. Because there's some keyword might have a high volume, but it doesn't reflect your business. You're not going to use it. Make sense? But if this keyword brings my competitor on the front page of Google, you should use it and not avoid it. See, the mistakes that people say, oh, if that person uses it, I cannot use it. No. Use it too, because you never know. You will still get it. If Google decides to put you in the first or bring in the first page because you might have something extra that they don't have, You can utilize that. In fact, if you look at your competitor's website, if they're missing a blog, great. Now you're going to start putting blog posts, right? If they have a service page with 300 words, I'm going to put a service page with 1,000 words. Do you see what I'm saying? So you have to make this adjustment. And let's say that competitor possibly have 100 backlinks, like coming from relevant side, news side, different sources. Guess what? You need to make 300 links to your website so you can outrank that not necessarily outrank them, but make sure you get more traffic. Because I don't want you to think like I want to outrank them, because they're business too. You won't appreciate if somebody wants to outrank you. That's not cool. We have to collaborate and cooperate, right? You do the necessary thing and let Google decide to bring you the traffic that you need. Make sense? So understand your customer. That's a yes. Yeah, there you go. So absolutely. So that's how it's done. So don't look at the, oh wow, this keyword has so much of them out there, and my competitors are using it, so I'm not going to use it. No, that's not the right thinking. You should use it, but again, it goes back to your website. How is your website built? What is the objective of the website? Your competitor probably have a phone number and that's it. But the way you build it, it might be a little bit different. Sometimes, yes, you look at somebody, that are successful. That's what we say, copy the right copycat, right? So because it works, it might work for you. But don't worry about that, because if you do web design, or let's say graphic design, and all your competitor using San Antonio graphic designer and they show up on the first page, put that on the homepage, right? But with that, there are other tasks that you can implement. You can analyze them, right? I mean, we have clients in one industry. It was like a real estate industry, like a mortgage industry, where they have 5 competitors, right? Actually 4. So with them, there were 5. So when we optimized the website, we looked at all their backlinks, we looked at all the optimization, and the website was built differently. And over a year, we noticed that, let's say my client got more keyword discoverability, more backlink versus their competitor. One of the competitor has nothing and is still number 1, but the other 3 basically they kind of went down. And this particular client actually overtook their ranking because there's more stuff happening here. Make sense? So I hope that makes sense. Okay. So Brother Javed, if you want to utilize some of the tools, so let me show you. You can utilize keywords everywhere. This is a free tool. You can plug into your extension, to your Chrome extension. Let me show it to you. So this one, you can utilize it. It's free. I mean, they have a paid version, but you can use the free one. It basically gives you a lot of information about what's been searched on Google. It's attached to Google search, and you can utilize it, right? So right now, if I take your keyword that you said here, COVID-19 antibody test, let's see. The most basic way to do a keyword research without the actual tools, it's just by going to Google. So let's type COVID-19 antibody test, right? Look, all these drop down. First of all, when I come right here, space. Oh, come on, let's see. It's searching, give it a few minutes. There you go. So when you, first of all, autocomplete. This is called autocomplete. So COVID-19 antibody test near me. So there are people searching for that. COVID-19 antibody test kit. That means they want to get the kit. COVID-19 test near me, coronavirus antibody test near me. So these are the keywords that your audience are searching. So if you write a content or a blog with that subject, that can definitely help, right? Then if you scroll down, these are Google ads. So somebody's running, of course, Quest. Quest are very big. So they're running an ad in Google, COVID-19 immune response. So they're coming up in the ad. So they are the only ones running ads on Google right now for that keyword, right? So when you scroll down, you also have common question. You can use these, right, for writing a content for your blog, because people are already asking for it. When you click on it, there's an answer and there's a link. Where is it going? So now you can utilize these questions and you can write your own content. You can use some of these resources as a citation back to these websites. You can make your content optimizable. There are a couple of videos. If you want to do a video, that's another option. See, this video came up, right? Let's see what else. When you scroll down, more keywords. right? More keywords. Okay, so that's the first way. The second thing right here, Uber suggests it's a extension plugin. You can add it to your Chrome browser. Right here, what COVID antibody test is FDA approved? This is a question. Looks like it doesn't cost that much, which means you can invest in Google Ads if you want. So you can show up with the Quest Lab. Okay. If you go down, COVID-19 antibody test near me. So these are the most popular keyword for that one that you're asking about. So that means you have to make a page that specifically talks about it, all the content about it. You can put all the questions on it, the answers on it, the process on how to get it, where to get it from, right? So make sure you have so much content on that page, like a lot of material, and you're putting this material based on these searches. So your page is gonna have probably more than thousands of words with images and videos and whatnot, with the call to action to call you to go to the clinic or the labs and whatnot. So that'd be my suggestion. Okay. But again, organic thing don't show up right away. Even if you do that, it's not going to come on the first page of Google. Why? Because for this one keyword right here, there are more than 159 million pages that are trying to compete for this. So it's not going to work, right? But in the future, it will. It might take some time, right? So you need to look into Bing advertising or Google Ads, because people go to Google to search for information. So if you run Google Ads with this keyword, then it's going to show up in this area like that. Now, there's no guarantee if they click on the ad, you're going to get those customers. Our suggestion is for every 10 click, you might get a lead. So if the click costs $1, that means for every $10, you might get a lead. Okay. So that's one of the suggestions I would recommend, that you need to optimize the pages for that. And when it comes to optimization, I mean, the other technique that you have to make sure that that page specifically is properly optimized. Okay. So you can use that tool. You can also use this awesome site that I love it a lot. It's called Answer the Public, right? Answer the Public. So this is based on the Google's database within the people also ask. So if I put, let's see, COVID-19 antibody test and see what comes up, right? You can do a search and see what comes up. So this is more like right now. So right now, the most popular questions, you give it a few seconds, it's going to pull it up. So the only 19 question within, actually more than 19. I'm sorry, 80 questions. Look at that, 80 questions, Brother Javid. So if you look at why, where, what, will, which, who, how, when, and there's more. See? There is more questions. Close to like 200 questions within that, almost 192 question within this subject. Okay? So for example, right here, what COVID-19 antibody test is it TD approved? Let's see, why or where. Let's see, where is good COVID-19 antibody testing available? So when I click on this question, it will take me to Google. So that's a popular question. You can use that question on your social. You can use that question as a title for your blog post or your YouTube video. And look, there's an ad. With this keyword, this ad showed up from the Quest Lab, right? And also Health Lab. So there are two companies running ads for that keyword. And you can see Mayo Clinic, of course, they're very big. Who are showing up? Texas Med Clinic, they're local. They have different locations. They are showing up for that organic keyword. So they are getting, because they have a frequently asked question page that probably answers that question. Do you see what I'm saying? Even on your website, I highly recommend, Brother Java, that you need to put a frequently asked question page on your website. Let's see. Bill said, I've read that part of choosing keyword would be targeted based on your customer's buying stage. Is that right? There's something called intent. So when people do a keyword when people search for term, different terms have a different value. Some terminologies, for example, landscaping tips. If somebody's typing landscaping tips, that means in most cases their intent is not to buy or hire somebody to do landscaping. Their intent is to learn how to do landscaping, right? Versus if somebody is typing affordable Nike shoes online, right? So their intent is to buy the shoe. That's what they're saying, affordable Nike shoe online, because when they find it, they'll buy it. So there's something called intent of the searcher, right, Bill? Intent of the searcher. So there's a different category. There's a search that means just for navigation. There's a search that means for information, and there's a search we call it transaction, just like buying women's shoe online, for example, or affordable whatever, right? So you have to look at the intent. So when you do the keyword research, you have to analyze based on relevancy. Then after that, you have to look and see, okay, which one is informational and which one is transactional. Let's see. Will all the answer need to be on the same page? Yes, you can create a frequently asked question page and add all those questions, Javid, and put the answers. Or if you're gonna make a specific page for the COVID-19 antibody test, then you're gonna say how to get it, how it works, and put the most popular question on that page. Okay, put the most popular question, maybe like 10 to 20 questions, and each one of them have an answer. Imagine this is like a landing page that sells the COVID-19 antibody test. With that, it's not just, hey, buy the stuff, but there's more information to educate them. So why not take that opportunity, Brother Javid, right? Take that opportunity, build it that way, right? So are you looking for antibody test near you? Okay, here's the process, and here's the benefit. Why? Then most popular questions, and put it that way. And of course, call to action to call you or get the kit and whatnot. Okay. Or you can provide a link to learn more. Yeah, but you see, you have to understand how the customer behave. If they come to the page, you want them to locked into that page and not distracted. The other thing when it comes to the process of creative design, you don't want to give them more than 3 clicks. What I mean by that, if I come to the landing page that talks about antibody test, right? It has all this information. 1 click, order the kit. 2nd click, checkout. Okay. 3rd, submit maybe. Okay, that's it. But if it's 4 or 3 or 6, there's too much click. They can probably lose attention. So you got to make it easier for them. So if you make 1 page just for this product that has all the important information with the call to action, they're going to stay on that page only. Does that make sense? Let me see. You posted the link. Let me see. Okay, this page that says COVID-19 antibody test, but there's nothing. Okay, there you go. There's some information under this. Okay, if you ever. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, you have some information. Let's go and analyze it. Under this, okay, antibody test for 120. Add to cart right now. When it comes to the text, bro, you gotta make it bigger. 18-inch. Let's see. Okay, so right now, you put this based on what you know, right? You put this based on what you know. How about using below this? How about putting all those popular questions, like where and what and why and how? Right? What if you can just fill up more information on this page? Because the more information you add, let me take that back. The more relevant, highly valuable information that your target audience are searching for, why not have it here? Okay. If I'm going to run a quick analysis, let me just run a quick on-page analysis on this particular page. And let's see what it does. Let's see the diagnosis here on this particular page. Okay, the title tag, COVID-19 antibody test. That's good. That's a keyword right here. That's a keyword. Good job. Let's see. This blood test checks for a type of antibody test. These information, your customer don't understand what they mean. I know you're in the medical field. to you it means something easy, but for let's say me, if I want to take this, I don't understand what that means. So you have to the meta description. The purpose of the meta description is like you are telling me. Like if I tap the keyword COVID-19 antibody test and your website shows up, the meta description will tell me, like you're addressing me. It's gonna be something like, are you looking for antibody test to blah 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 in your area with the best result, yada yada yada. Click the link above. Because you have to utilize the meta description to talk to me. And of course the keyword antibody test is also there. And the meta description, even though Google made the change last year, it used to be like 160 character, including spaces. Now it's like 320 character. I still recommend to keep the meta description under 160. Okay, so change the meta description a little bit as if you were talking to me. Like, okay, are you looking for such and such in San Antonio area? We got the best, processor, blah, blah, blah. Click the link above for more information or to buy it now. Okay. Let's see, your keyword density looks good. You're not exceeding the 3% keyword density. Let's go ahead and check and see. Your on page is done. So your meta description is 320, which is fine because the latest is 320, but I recommend to stick with 160. Okay. Your HTML tagline is headline is good. Thank you on that. Awesome. Good job on adding alternative text for the image. Excellent job on that one. Now look at the text ratio. The text and HTML ratio is 10%. I recommend, what does this mean, the text HTML ratio? And this is, by the way, folks, this is part of the on-page SEO. That means your website on the front, up to the naked eye, looks like this, right? But on the back end, it's a bunch of codes, right? So what the system is saying, you have more, in general, you have more codes on the back end than the text. So the code is this much, and the text like somewhere in the middle, right? So the ratio is too low for the search engine to kind of, give you that some sort of exposure and to be noticeable. So here, the SEO Quake Chrome suggests 15%. I recommend 25%. I recommend your text should be at least 25%, okay? Anywhere between 25% to 75, but not more than 75. That means you have to add more content. Okay, so my suggestion to you is use the answer the public, add frequently asked questions with more valuable information, like how this is beneficial, how it can help them, what are the process, and also look at the popular questions that your target audience are asking. Okay, once you're done, let me know so I can run this analysis again and see if the number goes above 15% or 25%. Okay, so you got to put more content right there. See what else? So you got the schema. Oh, this is very good, man. You got the schema tag as well. Good job. So your on-page SEO is actually good, right? But need a little bit of adjustment, a strategy, which is increase the content, and you need to make sure that your Google Analytics configured. You need to configure the Google. Hey, Charles, what's going on, bro? You need to configure the Google Analytics and the Google Search Console. Very, very, very important. So please. I cannot emphasize enough how you need to make sure that you have the analytics configured, because the analytics will give you more data and understanding of what's happening to your site. Based on those analytics, you can go back and make the changes. So please go ahead and configure Google Analytics. I believe the website is built on WordPress. You can use, after you configure the Google Analytics, you can use a plugin called Monster Insights. Monster Insights. You can use this plugin, Monster Insights. After you set up the Google Analytics, then you can set up the Monster Insights to basically connect the site with the Google Analytics, because we need to know what is happening, what are the visitors, where they're coming from, what are they clicking. Okay, so this is Monster Insight. And don't also forget to configure your website with google.com/webmasters, which is a short for Google Search Console. Okay, Google Search Console. You need to make sure you have the Google Search Console configured and the Google Analytics, and don't forget to use Monsters. And I believe you already, well, based on what you did, looks like you optimized it very well. So if you are using, you applied some of the on-page SEO technique. If you're using Yoast or Rank Math, that's good. But just go ahead and make some of these adjustments I recommended, which is like increase more content, question-based content, and from the answer to the public. And basically, if you run an ad, then the ad is going to go to this link. If you run a Bing advertising or Google Ads, then you're going to have to run it to this link, not to your homepage. If you have a social media channel, you have to share this link and not the homepage. Make sense? So that would be my suggestion. Especially nowadays, I think a lot of people are already doing this, so you should have a good market to start selling this service. Okay? All right, it is 6:46 p.m. Are there any more questions? I haven't finished answering Megan's question on the SEO part. I was still just talking about it. So it's possible I'm going to continue talking about it tomorrow as well. Because Charles, what I basically did, I talked about the definition of what search engine is, the definition based on Google. Then we talked about what the spider does, and I kind of mentioned that there's two ways of doing the SEO. One is called on-page SEO, and the other one is called off-page. So on-page is only done once, or whenever you do a blog post, you have to optimize it, because that basically involves like the title, the meta tag, the keyword, the alt, the schema, the backend structure, and the content and whatnot. And the off-page SEO mainly is like a link building. Like the primary work is like a link building, submitting content on a high valuable sites, and the whole process behind that. Okay, there's a whole process. Thanks for the advice. We'll make the changes soon. You're welcome, Akhi. What is a good? One second. Decline. I am busy. So let's see. What is good? What to do SEO keyword? Well, I don't understand the question. What is a good what to do SEO keyword research? What do you mean? What do you mean? Charles, I did not understand your question. Are you asking about a tool, or what is the best way to do a keyword research? Go ahead and elaborate on your question. What is a good what to do SEO keyword research? I mean, when it comes to tools, there are tons. I mentioned like you can do the research just by going to Google, which is the easiest one, but you do not want to rely on that one only. Then you have the extension like Ubersuggest and Keywords Everywhere. Then you have tools like SEO, PowerSuite, Screaming Frog. Then you have a paid version tools like SpyFu, Keyword Spy, SEMrush, and Ahref, and of course the free one, Google Keyword Planner. You also have a Market Samurai, an application that you can only pay once and get it. Typo. What is a good way? Okay, what is a good way to conduct? There you go. What is a good way to conduct a keyword research? Okay, so it depends on what kind of tools you are using. If you're using the free Google Keyword Planner, right? If you are using the free version of Google Keyword Planner, then of course, once you log in, understand that this tool is meant for Google Ads. It's not for the organic, but you can still utilize some of the data, right? So the basic one, the autocomplete from Google itself, the extension and whatnot that I mentioned in the beginning. If you are going to use the Google Keyword Planner, so let's say you are in the plumbing business, you're going to type plumbing, which is the main keyword, and you start with the seed keyword or the main keyword. That doesn't mean you're not able to go. That doesn't mean you won't be able to rank for the plumbing, but it's going to be very hard because it's super not saturated, but it's very difficult to rank for one because that's going to take a lot of work, right? So you're going to look for like 3 to 4 words, like plumbing services in San Antonio or plumbing services near me, like 3 to 4 words, right? So once you put the keyword plumbing, Google Keyword Planner will give you like 700, 500, and sometimes like probably 800 variation of key phrases within the seed keyword of plumbing, right? Then from there, the next strategy is that to look for the most relevant key phrases that reflect your product, your services. Then you look for the volume, right? Then you test all these keywords by going to Google and see what kinds of website shows up, right? If there are some websites that are only informational and they're not a plumbing businesses, then I'm not going to use that because it's not showing the result for what I do, what I provide. It makes sense. So that's how you do it in a simple format. Okay. So for example, when you look for relevant keywords, let's say buy soccer shoes, right? Buy soccer shoes online, or online soccer shoes store USA, or stores near me. These are relevant, right? An example of an irrelevant keywords will be something like, let's say, soccer shoe pictures, or let's see, awarded soccer shoes, something like doesn't require the intent of the search intent helper. Makes sense? So if you want to understand what is the search intent helper, you put the main keyword plumbing, and the search intent will be hiring now, near me, get an estimate. You see, these are like more like an intent base. So if you find those, then you're gonna pick them up. Make sense? Because the search intent helper, it is the word, right? It's a phrase, it's a word that could be used to help you to understand that they trying to do something with it. Like the direction behind that term is for an action, whether it's transactional. So something like reviews, near me, why, how to. These are some of the stuff that can have those intent. Make sense? So that's how you do it. So in a simple format, that's how you usually do it. Okay. Hey, Lauren, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. How are you? What time is it there right now? 3 o'clock? 4 o'clock? Now, the way people search, should you put more long tail, should you put more long tail keywords, search them, than single keyword in your campaigns? That is a beautiful question. When it comes to the ad, let's say Google Ads, you can put all of it. You can put the single, you can put the long tail. But when it comes to search engine optimization, depends on your pages. So if you have a page that talks about, specific plumbing services, then it's going to be a long one because you're focusing on the local. The thing with the long tail keyword, that the search volume for the long tail keyword could be low, but the conversion will be higher. Versus if I use the word plumbing, it can have millions of volume, but the conversion is way low. Take another example. Let's say I'm a car dealer, right? Let's say I'm a car dealer. If I want to say San Antonio car dealership, everyone here has a car dealership, right? So maybe that's on the homepage because I'm a car dealership. But if I want to be specific, if I want to get a low volume on a key phrase that can bring more higher conversion, let's say I only sell Honda cars. So I'm going to say Honda car dealership. Okay, there's other 10 Honda car dealership in my city. No problem. I'm going to keep the homepage Honda car dealership. In my service page or specific cars, let's say I'm selling right now blue, convertible Honda 2020. That is a long tail keyword, like 3 to 4 keywords. That means the search volume for that one might be low, but the conversion will be higher because people are specifically searching for that. Does that make sense? Let's see. Charles, so how do I know when to use Google Keyword Planner versus Ask the Public? Well, use both, man. Right? It's not like, good question, Charles. It's not like when and how. You utilize all of it. When we do keyword research, we probably use like 10 tools, man. I mean, we use SEMrush, we use Ahrefs, SpyFu, because when we utilize all these tools, we look at the most common denominator. Okay, what's the common between all of them? And what's like not a little bit common, but it's still valuable, right? To be honest with you, I mean, it takes us at least not less than an hour to do a proper keyword research. And this is with experience, right? So if you have access to Google Keyword Planner, understand what is it for. If you want to utilize not more than 2 or 3, then stick to those. I know they're like, if you have too many, one of the things that you'll notice, the majority of the time, most of the keyword that comes up, majority of it are similar. Okay? So if you notice that if you use 2 or 3 tools and 90% of the result are the same, then you can stick with one. You don't have to do all 3 of them. Do you see what I'm saying? So, it's almost 2 o'clock. Wow. Walaikum salam, Fatima. I know you, Thank you for tuning in. So does that make sense? Does that make sense, Charles? So, but the thing you understand that Google Keyword Planner is meant for the ads, right? And the data that Google Keyword Planner gives you, it's based on 12-month period. Okay, that's why when Javed asked me in the beginning, it's possible that it might not show up on the Keyword Planner, and he was right because this is very new. It's possible you can pull it up. If it doesn't, you know, you have to wait. But I think if you're running ad, then for sure it will show up. Lauren, so should you plan your on-page SEO as you said, home page, broad keyword, more specific, long tail, deeper into the your site? You're absolutely correct, Lauren. Yes, and not just that. In addition to what Lauren said, by the way, folks, she's another amazing digital marketer and a web person and jack of all trade, and she's also a professional in scuba diving, right, Lauren? You are a professional scuba diver from Hawaii. I'm giving too much information. But anyway, you're absolutely correct. But with that, Lauren, trying to think in these two perspectives. In the beginning, I mentioned that the Google search wants to understand, that the bot wants to understand what this page is about. It wants to understand what is it about. It wants to index it, crawl it for those terminologies in the content within that page. If you have a specific service page that talks about how to get started with scuba diving, has all information about that, then your keyword going to be how to start scuba diving. Makes sense? Because that page talks about that. So the keyword, whether it's long, which is I agree with you, I recommend with the long tail, the 3 to 4 keywords, than just one. But you also have to make sure that that terminology is somehow being mentioned on the content. And right now, with Google's algorithm update, you don't have to repeat the same keyword on the content several times. You don't have to repeat it like 10 times. Then your content becomes like robotic, because the search engine right now understands if you say one thing, understand that it can relate to something else too. You know what I mean? Makes sense, says Charles. Lawrence says, wahaha, baha, bah. I don't know how I would read that. Okay, like bahahahaha. So does that make sense? So that's very, very important that when you optimize the pages in your head, you have to think, okay, I'm making these pages for my audience, right? And at the same time, I'm explaining to Google, hey, this page is about this because I provide this, and that's what the page talks about. When the Google Spider comes in, indexes the backend, the code, and everything, and the content, then it puts it on the index server, right? So the more valuable content you have, and whatever the term within this content that the customer is searching for, Google will start to send you traffic to that as well. Okay, so when you add those title tag or the page titles, make sure that if your primary keyword is, let's say, San Antonio dentist, because you are a dentist, great. That's going to be on the main title tag and the description and whatever stuff you have on the content itself. If you're focused on one area, let's say you only work in the Leon Valley area, then it's going to be Leon Valley best dentist in Leon Valley, blah blah blah. Use of the ninja dentist who can whiten your teeth with a katana. Okay. Let's see. How can I understand the concept of main keyword and secondary keyword? Excellent question. So the main keyword, let's say plumbing, is one word or two words. Women's shoe. That's called main. Main is for you. You are searching something. You're not sure in the beginning. Okay, I don't know what are the intent keyword. I don't know if it's a 3 word, 4 words, 5 words. So I'm going to start with 1 or 2. That is called main. So when I say plumbing, that is called main keyword. Secondary, or so the main keyword is a seed keyword, and after that everything else is a variation of that one terminology. So when you do the keyword research, you start with one main, which is just main, like a theme. Okay, I'm in plumbing business, I'm gonna start with plumbing. Then see from that what else comes up, like plumbing near me, plumbing services, San Antonio plumber. Because one of the cool thing about the Google Keyword Planner, you can select your location. Let's say San Antonio, and from there, Google will show you the result based on that location. Does that make sense? So that's the first thing. Now, when it comes to optimizing the pages, there is no primary and secondary. There is, every page has its own key phrase. Okay, every page is focusing one thing. If you're in the real estate business, if you're a real estate investor, let's say you flip homes, that's the main business, flipping houses. Then all the content in the keyword is talks about best flipping homes in San Antonio, or how to flip a home in San Antonio, for example. Are these two the same keyword? How to use a VA loan, or can I use a VA loan? For yeah, so the thing is, that's a very good question, Lauren. So now when you put it on the title tag, you can say how to use a VA loan by whatever. In the description, are you looking to find out how to use a VA loan? Blah blah blah. That's on the middle description, right? Within the content, you can start with how to, but in the middle somewhere, you can also say, can I use a VA loan? So both are in a way different because if you type how to use a VA loan in the Google search, see what comes up. Then also type, can I use a VA loan? See what comes up, right? Then you can do a comparison. Are the content exactly the same? Or are they a little bit different? If it's different, okay, great. I can probably utilize it on a different page. I can probably put it somewhere in within the content. Because for Google bots to look at the content, they can grab that or can just grab the word VA alone. They can just use the word VA alone and send you the traffic for that too. Make sense? So in a way, they are different, but they're similar. So that's why you don't have to use the exact thing over and over. Back in the day, we used to put like the if you have a thousand thousand words, and if you want to put the same keyword after every 300 words, it might sound a little bit strange. I mean, to be honest with you, it's funny because this technique still works, believe it or not. If you have 1,000 word and for every 100 words, I'm sorry, for every 300 words, you drop the keyword in, somehow the search engine can grab that. Okay. Or you can just have a diversity. You can kind of play with different things. But don't be saying something like, hey, I sell blue jeans in the blue jeans area for the blue jeans market and the blue jeans lovers because I'm a blue jeans. You don't want to do that because now you stuff the keyword with the same one over and over. That is something that the search engine wouldn't like because it doesn't sound natural, right? So even when you do the keyword research, even if you focus on, let's say, how to use a VA loan or can I use a VA loan, that doesn't mean Google going to send you traffic only for that. When Google comes into that particular page and indexes everything with that page, it will discover more information. It will discover more keywords that you never thought about it, right? But the customers are typing those keywords and somehow it was mentioned within the content or it was similar, like what you showed in this example. It could be similar to, can I use a VA loan? And Google going to send the traffic to you as well. Okay. In fact, Lauren, if I'm going to send you, I will send you uh, all the organic keywords that brought traffic to your site and where did it go so you can see because there are a lot. Okay, and this will give an idea. Okay, even though I did not implement this specific on-page strategy on this page, but for some reason this page also getting additional traffic, additional keyword discoverability. That's why great content marketer, when they write awesome content, in most cases they don't look at SEO. They just look for their audience, what the audience want, and they write amazing material that the audience is going to enjoy and share and comment. And naturally, organically, the SEO will work by itself on that on-page optimization factor. Make sense? Yes, if you put too many keywords, that's called keyword stuffing. You don't want to do that. That's why sometimes you don't have to mention the same keyword million times. You can mention a few times, like maybe two or three, then have a variation of other within the content. But when you write the content, remember, when you write the content, it has to be for your customer. What they need to know, what they have to know, it's for them. Then you can go back and make sure that maybe some of the content has to have these terminologies because you want to get exposure for them. Like if I'm going to sell, I don't know, nitrogen-based ice cream, right? If I don't mention the word at all, how would the search engine understand or would know that that's what I'm talking about if I don't mention it? Got it. Content and intent keyword thinking. Yes, intent is very, very important. So sometimes when you do the keyword research, I mean, you can get all these variation. Look at the relevancy, look at the intent. Is this informational keyword? Is this navigational keyword? Is this transactional? Like, buying books online. That's like more like transactional. So some of the example that I mentioned to Charles, like if you want to know how to identify just the intent itself, is like keyword with the how to, reviews, near me, news, guide, why is. These are all some terms that indicates an intent. Because if you don't grab the keyword that has a proper intent and you're optimizing it, what's going to happen? You're going to lose money on that. If you are going to use, let me use another crazy example. This is an amazing guy. Several years ago, came to my workshop. He was doing some project with a business for golf cars or golf carts. Excuse me. So he was telling me, man, I hired this company to do some SEO on the website. They spend like, 5 to 6 months, which is a typical standard for a local optimization time delivery. And after 5 months, he started to get a lot of result, like a lot of traffic, like, oh my God, like 300 hits a day, right? But the sad thing is that his bounce rate was like close to like almost 89%. That's like whoever comes to the site, they leave and they don't take any action. So he started to figure like what's going on. So I explained to him how to log in and look at the optimization. And he looked at it and he found out and he was just laughing and he was telling me, guess what, man? We found out the problem. Of course, they had to fire the company that did the work. Uh, Remember, he was helping a client in the business of selling golf cars or golf carts. So whoever they hired when they optimized this particular pages, they put the keyword used cars and new cars. So they don't sell cars or new cars. They sell golf cars or carts. So they got the wrong what do you call it ranking for something that it wasn't even meant for them. So same thing with the intent of the keyword. If the intent is for information and you're optimizing for that, that means you might not have a huge percentage of transactional intent. Make sense? Answer the public is my favorite. Yes, answer the public. What is the difference between hits and traffic? Hits basically means you got the hit to the site. Traffic means the link back where the traffic is coming from. It's actually kind of synonymous because hit can be a click, right? Traffic could be a backlink, so you're getting a link back to your website, and you're also getting what do you call it? Visibility on the website. Okay, so when I say you have this many traffic, that means you have this many visits, and the visitors are staying, are doing something, right? Versus a click, you just click on the link, click on the site. That's how you look at the measurement, right? But the word hits, you don't see that on Google Analytics. If you look at Google Analytics will tell you like sessions, users, page per views. That's what they look at. So the algorithm is a little bit different. So when I say traffic, that means how many traffic, which is turn into a hit, can turn into a user, can turn into a session. Okay. So whoever is coming to the website, it has to be targeted traffic. That means targeted audience finding you. So you can call it audience, you can call it customer, you can call it traffic, but it has to be targeted. Does that make sense, Charles? Okay. And hits could be a click, means click on the site. Okay. Not necessarily mean, it can mean many things. It can also mean just somebody clicked, they looked at it, they didn't look at it. That's how you look at the hits, right? So hits won't happen without traffic. Okay. If the traffic coming in, that means they already hit the site. So they are kind of work together. But traffic can also bring conversion that the hit not necessarily will, because somebody click on the link, that's a hit, but they didn't do anything, you didn't get no conversion and no leads. But traffic can do that. With an addition, it can also help with getting leads and whatnot. Okay. All right. All right. So if you all enjoyed watching this live streaming, do me a favor, go ahead and invite some of your awesome colleagues, tag them or share this. I would highly appreciate it. Okay. It is 9:07 p.m. Central Time. So if y'all have any more questions, I'll wait for one more minute. And after that, I will bounce. And I shall return tomorrow as well at 6 p.m. And I didn't finish talking about the search engine, so I'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to talk about what are the technique of off-page SEO. I'll talk about a little bit on the on-page stuff. So I'll continue to talk about that tomorrow. You're most welcome, Lauren. Thank you so much. Okay, one more minute. And by the way, don't forget to follow this pro blogger, Darren. He's actually live right now. I think is this live session with Darren? He's a pro blogger. If you want to like optimize and improve your blogging stuff, check out pro blogger. I believe he's live right now. He was live, so check him out. Thank you and take care, brother Javid. Thank you, Charles. Thanks, Lauren. Thank you so much. And okay, All right, folks. Don't forget, if you are going to watch this as the replay, tap the word replay on the bottom. And if you have any more questions, send those questions to me, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye for now.